What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica, and this is going to be your Love and Marriage Huntsville review. Let's fix this a little bit. All right. Hope everybody's doing okay. It's Sunday, so I figured I would come down here and do my review for Love and Marriage Huntsville, being that I have to do two more reviews this evening or maybe tomorrow. Real Housewives of Atlanta, Married to Medicine. So let's get started. So we're starting off with Melody at a photo shoot. She wants to have a photo shoot that commemorates the new chapter and the new beginnings in her home. She doesn't want to have any images of Martell around with the kids, so she wants to take a picture of herself with the kids. It was cute. They had on the little baby had on a turban. Baby, and I'll tell you, that little baby was so cute. I want to just grab that little baby and eat it up. Did y'all see Boss Baby talking about she was the queen and she was sitting in the chair? Melody's gonna have she gonna have her hands full with that one. So it looked like it came out nice, and I think it is actually a good idea what she's doing. And Destiny shows up, and Destiny, Melody is saying how supportive Destiny has been with this whole situation, even though she's known Martell longer. And so her and Destiny are just sitting there talking and basically saying that Martell needs to be okay with the consequences of the choices that he made. And she feels like he can't hide the consequence now because it's a baby, right? Remember on Bridgerton when Lady Featherington told, what was the girl's name? What was her name? Oh my God, I can't remember her name. The one who was pregnant. She says, men will tell you anything when it's time to make love, but then when they see that their love making has consequences, they don't want to be bothered with you no more. That's what she said. Remember when she said that, and she took her down to like the hood, and it was like people on the streets and stuff like that, and she was like, do you want your kids to be like that? Remember when she said that? And that's what made me think of that when Melody was like, he needs to be okay with the consequences that he made. She says it just feels really good leaving all that BS behind. I honestly think that Martell believed that he was going to be able to live the life of maybe how his father or his grandfather would have done it, and where their wives would have probably stayed, right? Back in the day, you have a lot of women who understood and knew that their husbands had entire families on the other side of town, and they stayed. But we live in a new era now where women are not trapped in marriages because they don't have the means, the resources, the access to be fully independent without the necessity of a man like in the old days. I think that's what he really thought what was going to happen. And as we can see that he's really dealing with this, he's performing like he's dealing with it. Let's just say that. So Martell meets with Dr. Francis. Now, I don't know, the way he made it seem like he wasn't always honest with Dr. Francis. And we probably know that he wasn't, because I think Martell has a difficult time handling the truth. And so when you go to a therapist, I think it does you a disservice not to be honest with your therapist. And so he says, I need to be more honest with you. And I feel like my family is being ripped apart. And he was like, and I cry about it. And he was like, it's okay to cry. It's really okay. And then he started talking about his relationship with Melody. And he says, she probably wasn't getting what she needed, and I wasn't getting what I needed from her. So you were sure about what you weren't getting, but you're not quite sure if she was getting from you what she needed from you. Because she probably, and that's Martell's way of trying to figure out how she can be to blame for this, like trying to figure out a way, like we both caused this, right? And we know what it is and we know what he's doing. Anyways, so he says he wanted more attention. He wanted her to be more affectionate. He at one point said he felt like he didn't say it in these words, but it felt like he was fishing for compliments from her. And then the sex slowed down. And then the therapist said something, almost what Cadrick said was, did she have an ability to give you what you needed? Like remember Cadrick was like, unless she is physically incapable, you should be getting what you need. And I just think that kind of thinking, that approach to thinking is really bad. Anyways, so the therapist was like, so you felt like something was being withheld from you. And he was like, but then he said, just because she withheld it from you doesn't mean that you were supposed to go out and cheat. In so many words. And so he was like, it just feels like it was a constant chaos, but he enjoyed it. And you have to be mindful of those people. There's a lot of people, a lot of men who will get in relationships with women and cause havoc and chaos and will be the main ones talking about, I just want peace. I just want peace. But they're the main ones causing all the chaos. And for him to say that he enjoyed the chaos, and maybe that comes from the way that Melody is very poised for the most part, right? And maybe that chaos of like, I'm doing something I'm not supposed to be doing. I'm kind of getting away with it because she hasn't really left. I mean, she came back, she had another baby, so maybe I can get away with it. And it's all of that. So when he said he enjoyed that, I was like, okay. Then they started to compare the relationship to oranges, right? And he was like, I started to love the oranges. I couldn't stop going to get the other oranges. And then he said that the woman was actually very loyal to him, which is so ridiculous how you yourself can be loyal to a man who's cheating on his wife. That in itself has to be a mind fuck. Like, even the way that she was talking to him in the car, it was like, it's so weird that you being the girlfriend of a married man and you're pregnant, you have these expectations that would be almost indicative of the expectations his wife would have of him. And it's weird because now you're in a relationship with a man who dishonored his wife and you're expecting him to honor you. Girl, what? And there's so many people like that. Like even with Kim Zolciak, remember she kept saying, he's not married. He's not married. He's cheating on me. Like there's women who will be like, he's cheating on me with his wife. Yeah. There are women who think like that. And it's really sad. It's like, how could you expect that from him? And he's not even giving it to the person he actually made a promise to do that with. Are you thinking that you yourself is going to cause this other human being to change his ways? Do you think that you are going to be treated differently? I don't know. It was crazy. So I think, he says, I think he says to himself that he was loyal to two women. And I believe that he thought that Melody was really going to stay. I believe he really thought that this was going to be an old baby boomer relationship, silent era relationship, where those generations of women typically would stay with their cheating husband, typically would stay even if he had another wife, even will fight to stay, even will have animosity against the other woman when it's really him that you should be directing that energy to. But that's another story for another day. So he was like, what would you do if she became pregnant? So he, when he got down to giving him the answer. He even said that Martell would make a good politician because he doesn't answer the question. He plays around with words. He manipulates the words so that he doesn't have to answer. It's very fast talking, and it's arrogant for him to actually pull that shit in front of a therapist. That's what's funny. That I'm like, okay, so you really gonna do everything that he actually probably studied on how people behave, and you're actually gonna demonstrate that behavior, and you really think you not you really getting over on this man? It's a mess. And then he says, well, he wanted to tell him, you're not a bad man. It's not, it's who you are versus what you do. And he says he wants his children to be proud of their dad. And I said to myself, they're going to be able to see your behavior one day. They're going to be able to log onto the internet, because it's going to exist as long as the internet lasts. And they're going to be able to see that you tried to make it seem like their mother was the cause of you and that she was doing the same things you were doing. I'm sure of it. And he's probably going to talk to them in a way that makes it seem like, well, your mom was doing something too. It wasn't just me. I wasn't the sole reason for your mom and I not being together. Watch. He's already doing it, but they're going to be able to see. And I don't know how proud they're going to be, but whatever. So Martell's on the phone with his new child's mother, Arion. He wants to know how's the baby, and he tells her that he went to therapy, and she was like, did you call me a peasant? He asked for a DNA test. He wants to be 100% sure. She says she's 1,000% sure. And I can't believe that you're asking me from this. Why? Why can't you believe that? Why are you offended by a married man asking you to have a DNA test? I know. The fact of the matter is, he is not an upstanding person. So I don't understand why all of a sudden you want upstanding behavior. He called you a peasant on TV. You still sitting there. He is filming a reality show with his wife, now ex-wife, and you're still there. You are an idiot. Sorry. I'm sorry. You're an idiot. And you're even more of an idiot because you think that he's going to treat you different. And apparently there was some lady on Twitter last night with her name wasn't Arion. This was a different woman. And she was calling out Marsau's name too. Marsau and Martell talking about birds of a feather. Anyways, she says, you've always been good to me. I don't know. Anyway, so he's on his way to the Blaque soft opening. And Chris shows up, and her name is Nail. She shows up, and he talking about, I'm glad to see you. It was rough the other day. And she was like, you actually are the one that made it tough. She's like, the things that you were saying to her, I would have thrown the table at you. So it's no telling. We didn't get to see what he was actually saying. I think they are saving Martell a little bit of the little bit of pride he has left. They're saving it for him by not showing how he behaved at those people's house. She said that what you were saying, I would have threw a table too. LaTisha chimes in and she tells him, well, you need to speak your truth. I don't like that. I don't like it. I just don't like it. And the way what she said later on in the episode made me feel like she was believing what Martell was saying about Melody. She wanted to believe what he was saying about her. And she was like, you need to speak your truth or whatever. So Destiny shows up. Jalen shows up. Mel shows up. Kimmy and Mel give each other a hug. And she was like, girl, you look like you need to be on stage somewhere. She said, put me up there. Honey, Melody knows that she is fly as hell. She knows she is. And Martell knows that based on their conversation, you fucked up. You actually, what was it on Why Did I Get Married? You actually went and had a baby with the 20%. Girl. With the 20%. You really went there. You really did that. Anyways, Mel and Tisha, they go and have a conversation. And says that she wants to move forward. You were invited. I'm glad that you came. And I thought about it. I felt like it was my fault. My energy wasn't good. My energy did change the mood. And I apologize. And let the past be the past. Melody says she's amused by LaTisha because she has said it before. And she just hopes that this time she's actually sincere. So they move everybody out to the parking lot or whatever, and they unveil this mural that had an image of all the Scott sons. And there was the daughters, none of the girls were in the images. And it's just it's a mural of toxic masculinity. Like, why the hell wouldn't you have the future of your legacy be all of your branches that extend from the tree? Like, the girls are not as important as the boys. Are the boys really going to be able to, because we kind of enable boys to be slower than girls and this and that. Are they going to be able to take on a legacy? Like, I just couldn't. And just like Melody and Destiny were talking, they were like, they're kind of sexist. Yeah, they are. Why wouldn't you have all of the branches on this mural? The next generation. What about the girls? They're actually the ones that produce the next generation. They're the ones that are going to have the children. Anyways. I thought that was weak as fuck, if you want to ask me. Martell and Marcus go and have a conversation. He said the last time they had a conversation, it was a bit heated. And he said, I really was trying to show you how your behavior, you and Mel's behavior, are affecting the children. I'm going to have to say I believe that Marcus was being a little messy. I believe that he knows that Martell has an issue with his homosexuality, and he wanted to let him know, while you up here being the example of heterosexual men, my gay ass husband and me, your children want to call my husband daddy. I think that was what was really happening. And maybe because I want you to see how, things are happening in the way that you're treating your children, but I think it was some messiness in that. He says, you don't mind me being around your kids, right? And he was like, I've been around for how long? He's like, yeah, 13 years. Right. So for Martell in that other video to act like he hasn't known Marcus long enough and that the kids don't really know Marcus, but he basically wanted to let him know that his situation was unique. Let me tell you something. There's nothing unique about homosexual couples at all. That is a standard. It is a regular thing. There's nothing unique about it. Unique means that there's one here, one here, one here, one here, one here. No, it's normal. Homosexual couples, same-sex couples are normal. So for you to label it as unique, I already knew Martell was on some I told y'all Martell was on some bullshit. I told y'all he was. He wants them to know husband and wife. So he wants to push heteronormative ideologies into his children. He wants to push heterosexual ideologies on them. He doesn't want his children to think that same-sex coupling is right, because he believes that hetero relationships are right, and he wants them to learn that. And he says, because that's what I want for them. So you want your children to grow up and have a heterosexual relationship. That's what you want for them. Who cares what they want? Who cares how they feel? That's why I said it's very important that you be mindful the way that you speak about same-sex couples and same-sex issues, because you don't know where your child is in their development and their curiosity. You don't know. And what you could be doing is creating a space for them where they feel like they can't trust you, because how you talk about same-sex relationships, that's not how they feel. They feel like they probably like the same sex, and you don't know that. But as you learn and you listen to members of the LGBTQ community talk and say how they feel about how they felt, it happens very, very early. And you know how harmful it is for a child growing up having this identity crisis, and they hear their parents speaking ill about that identity. Do you know what that does psychologically, emotionally, spiritually for a child? Okay, so while you think you might be doing the best for your child and this is what you want for them, and you want them to see heterosexual, they already see it. It's on TV. They see it enough. They see it enough. That's what people think is the standard lifestyle. They think heterosexual lifestyle is the standard, and it's not the standard. And I wish people would get away from that. Marcus being in a same-sex relationship is not unique. It's regular and it's normal. And if we really want to be honest about it, those same-sex couples, when your heterosexual ass fucks up and that children winds up in foster care, they are the ones who are fostering your children. They are the ones who are adopting your children. Yeah. I was just like, I don't want them to see husband and husband like it's right. Already, I don't like it. I told y'all that's what he was doing. Anyways, Marcus was like, I don't know what you're talking about, because everything in my life has been positive. I ain't never had handcuffs on me. I'm a teacher, 25 years retired, and I'm a sanctified preacher despite of me being gay, is what he really wanted to say. I'll finish this goddamn sentence for him. He says, your kids being around me is that I'm a good example. I'm actually a better role model than you are. That's what he should have said. Because look what you're doing with your heterosexual ideologies. Look what you're doing. You're even trying to teach your children that their mother should stay with you while you do what you do as a heterosexual male. That's what you're teaching them. Their foundation is husband and wife. Melody comes through walking. She was like, Martell, that's their foundation. They see that. Whether it's their foundation, what they see, do you know how many kids see their mom and dad together and still are gay? So it doesn't matter what their parents are doing. It's what they are, how they feel. It's not. I can't even get into that conversation. I was just ridiculous. And he was like, did you consider the foundation when you was cheating on me for 5 years? Did you consider that? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Y'all want your children, and it's all for the kids and the gay agenda and the kids. But look at how you are behaving as a heterosexual male. Look at your behavior, and you want your children for that to be their foundation? Really? Okay. Did you consider that when you was cheating? And then Martell says, I did everything. You did it too. He really does not want the delusion of his marriage to be his fault, when everybody can agree that it is his fault. And how weak of a man are you that you went and cheated on your wife for 5 years all because she didn't want to give you fellatio? Like, that's the weakness of it all is what kills me. Like, you are a weak ass man. Weak as fuck. To fuck up what you built, the actual legacy that you were building. You took a sledgehammer to the foundation of what you were building and destroyed it. But you don't want your children around their gay uncle and his husband. Girl, you sound fucking stupid. And any person who thinks like that is fucking stupid too. You keep telling yourself that. Your kids are seeing what you're doing. Kids are seeing what you're doing. When you're on the phone with your dude, I ain't been on the phone with my dude. I don't have a dude. The girls told me, the girls ain't told you nothing. Now you lying. And that makes it even worse. And you just got finished from your therapist telling you it's what you do. You're not defined by that. But how you are afterwards, that defines you. How you respond to it is what defines you. He calms down with Melody. Marcus ends up walking away. Melody sitting at the table. She looks fly as hell, baby. Fly as... Girl, she was looking fly as hell. You see, it just got heated. We need to find a median because it's just making it worse. You know, I love the hell out of you, Mel, and I miss us. I wish this was all a dream. I know you're hurt, and I wish that everything was right. So he's basically playing this role for her. She's looking at him like, And then at one point you could tell she was getting emotional because it's like, you're thinking about everything. That's what she said. Everything we built at such a young age to create this legacy for our children. And look what you did. All because your wife wouldn't suck your dick. Do you realize what a weak nigga you are? Like, for real, for real? Like, when you break it down, when you break it all the way down and you say this is why you was cheating on your wife, is because she wasn't giving you what you wanted sexually, and you did it for 5 years instead of asking her, what did you need from me in order for you to open up? But you went out and got another woman for 5 years, and now that's probably not the first time she's been pregnant. Let's just be honest. And you want somebody to treat you a certain way and have respect for you. You disrespectful. You disrespected your legacy. You disrespected your legacy. You did it. Look at your name. Look at your name now. Child. She said, we worked our asses off. She was like, everything you say sounds good, but the reality of it is you didn't value your family. You didn't value me. You didn't value what we built. You didn't. You know, all the hurt, the pain and hurt you caused. Now, and then she said, and then that person became my enemy, and now you're having a baby with the same person. She said, that's an out for me. I'm never checking for that. I know that's right. I wish there was more women. I really wish that the first time it happened, Melody would have left. But what she's doing, I'm applauding her, because there's so many women that would stay. It's an out for me. She was willing to stay with you just by cheating, knowing that girl probably been pregnant more than once. And Melody was willing to work with you, even had another baby, and you continue to do what you continue to do. That's your fault. We have to move forward in a peaceful way. And I just can't let you say that I caused everything. And she said, who caused it then? And in what way? Like, you're really trying to blame her. It's crazy. She goes, go ahead and speak your piece. And she's like, he said, I'm not pointing the finger, but you keep throwing jabs. And he said something about, I would have left. You wouldn't have left, but I would have left you. That's what she said. If you didn't do anything wrong, I wouldn't have left you. That's what she said. If you didn't do anything wrong, I wouldn't have left you. If you were doing everything right, I wouldn't have left you. He said, but I would have left you. See, the tit for tat shows me that he's operating like really like at a junior high school mentality. And a lot of people do that. They don't want to be held solely responsible for ruining the foundation that they built. You did it. You did it. She said, listen, my attorney says you don't even have an attorney. What are you doing? It seemed like the conversation switched. I don't know how long the conversation was outside. It ain't no telling. Could have been an hour. Could have been 90 minutes. And then all of a sudden he tells her to shut up. And she was like, ain't gonna be no more shut the fuck ups. You don't have anything over here to say about nothing over here. You don't have say in nothing over here. So ain't gonna be no more shut the fuck ups. You shut the fuck up. And sign them goddamn papers. Sign them papers. And she said, you just told me the other day you wanted me to be your woman again. Well, I want to do it for the kids. So you want to fuck your kids up, heterosexual man. You want to continue to fuck them up. And watch you disrespect, dishonor, and devalue Melody. That's what you want your daughters to see and your sons to see? Okay, heterosexual. Then he called her a hoe. Well, you one of those too. She said, how dare you call me? What? You ain't shit. I love it when she told him that. You ain't shit. That's the bottom line. Martell ain't shit. That's the bottom line. She said in her interview, he wanted to be married and single at the same time. And now it looks like he wants to be married and divorced at the same time. She says, but I'm done with Martell for good. And I'm glad. I'm happy for her. I'm happy for her. She said, and then, Destiny, Martell leaves. Destiny comes out. She was like, hey, Mel. She was like dancing. Mel sitting there crying. She was like, girl, what's wrong? What's going on? What happened, girl? She was like, he's trying to make me look bad. And then she was like, oh, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, that's the thing, like, the arrogance of it all. That's what's crazy. It's like, you arrogant, you don't want to take accountability, you want to blame somebody else for it, or you want to share the blame with someone else for it. No, that's all on you, dude. All on you. He makes it a living hell. She says, I just want to take my kids and leave and change my number. When she said that, bitch, I said, oh my God, I know exactly the feeling of being around somebody who wants to make your life a living hell, who always wants to fuck with you and make your life a living hell. And you just want to take your kids and leave and change your number. I knew exactly how she felt. Kimmy and Tisha come out. They sitting down. And then Tisha says something that stuck out to me. When she said that Melody first said, yeah, he got a baby on the way. And she was like, Tisha was like, oh, like everybody's saying like, oh, so that's real. That's not just a rumor. Like, and then she was like, oh, for real. And then she was like, oh, because he has you. She didn't say that he does. But she said he has you out here looking like a hoe, like a complete hoe. So to me, whatever he was saying, LaTisha was taking it in, and she was internalizing that. That's why she kept saying she's not innocent in this, because you were taking his word for it, because you have shit with Melody. You got a gripe with Melody. It's the kids. At the end of the day, it's the kids. And she says, yes, and my kids are happy when they're with me. What do I tell y'all all the time? When you try to stay in a relationship for the kids, your kids would rather see you happy and single than partnered and miserable. Trust me. And you guys who are children of parents who stood together for you, tell me how it was in the comments in your household. Tell me how you wish your parents would have got a divorce and didn't stay for you. I'm sure there's a lot of us out there who could get in the comments and say that they wish their parents would have got a divorce. They wish they would have seen their parents happy and single instead of coupled and miserable. Then LaTisha sit up in her interview and lie like a dog. Mel is my sister, and if she's hurting, girl, shut the fuck up. Shut up. We just gotta be there for her. Girl, whatever. I think that was the end of the episode. So we're going to see what's going to happen. I guess, are they going to have a reunion? I have no idea. Anyways, y'all, take care of each other. Protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments and let me know what you guys think. I can't believe he called her a hoe. Well, you one of those too. And you see what's crazy about Martell? He goes from being cool, like trying to talk nice, and then he goes to attacking her. Then it gets aggressive. Then he goes to being cool and nice. Then he gets aggressive. That's that. He's like fucking with her, like trying to be emotional. He pulls at her, pushes at her. He wants to see emotion from her because that's the only thing that whether it's crying, whether it's anger, he wants to see it because that's the only thing he can get from her right now. The love is gone. So if he can get any type of emotion out of her, that's feeding him. And when she realizes that she should give him nothing every single time, don't feed him at all, let him siphon energy from the other women that he's siphoning from. Don't let him siphon from you anymore. Take care of each other and protect your energy. Peace.